Who? Who the fuck's Gilvin Sullivan?
Oh, my God. You call yourself a musician.
Who's Gilvin Sullivan?
It's all of those awful Amdram movies from, like, the back in the day, like before the war. One of the wars.
Before the war was my favourite, one of my favourite expressions, though.
Well,
everything's from before the war.
Before I was born, anyway.
Yeah.
They did the Mikado.
Okay, I know the Mikado.
Yeah, so that's Gilvin Sullivan. 3 little maids from school, are we? Yeah. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, you remember that?
But it's only because of The Simpsons. It's a Simpsons
exactly.
reference.
But the Mikado was written by Gilvin Sullivan, and I think they did, like, HMS Pinafore.
That's it. Yeah, Kelsey Grammer. His Sideshow Bob character is about... They're doing, like, a whole...
yeah.
Yeah.
Inside the jail. Was it when he was in jail for murder?
No. He's got Bart. They're doing, like, a whole Cape Fear thing.
Yeah.
And then he's about to kill him and he says, I'd like you to sing the entire score to the HMS Pinafore.
Yeah.
Very well, Bart. I shall send you to heaven before I send you to hell. And then he just starts. And a 1 and a 2.
Yeah, exactly. You need to spend some more time Googling that shit.
The Mikado.
Mikado, HMS Pinafore.
The following presentation does not represent Australian opinion or intellect.
Fake news, folks. Fake news.
Are you Muslim?
He should have been slapped as a child. He's a spoiled little freak rat who's probably being treated like a prince.
I'm not a criminal. I've earned everything I've got.
Do you know who was in the Mikado? Wasn't it John English?
Oh, fuck if I know.
I'm telling you.
The Australian version. I don't know. I've only seen the Melbourne Uni Amdram players from University College.
I'm almost
do that
positive.
in 1995.
No. I remember.
That's the only version
I'm just remembering really bad ads.
I had to sew the lycra skirts for the 3 little maids.
For the Melbourne Uni version.
For the Melbourne Uni version of Mikado. That was literally my entire input. Thank you, Tanya Stewart, if you're listening. Or whatever you're called now, you're married.
Okay. You know what's funny is everything I know about you, all your like academia things, or your other shit, or your controversial shit.
Oh, so
your
much.
one claim to fame is sewing the shit for the Mikado in Monash.
No, Melbourne Uni.
Melbourne, sorry.
Come on.
I don't know.
I didn't go to that B grade university in Clayton.
Do you think Monash is B grade?
Well, it's better now, but back then it was a bit shit.
Why?
Because they didn't have Alan Finkel by then. They had
Alan Finkel?
He's currently the chief scientist of Australia. I don't like him particularly much. You know, I don't like him.
Okay,
he doesn't like women. He thinks people like me are too uppity and bossy and loud and strident. That's right.
But you are strident.
He's the inspiration between the Become Strident campaign.
I was just going to say...
It's totally not going anywhere right now.
Become Strident's been your thing for like a year and a half.
Yeah, I know. But I need money to do it, and I just can't do it. And then I need to not go full metal jacket feminist killjoy.
You don't?
Well, I do personally, yes.
I've only ever known you to be full metal.
Well, clearly, everybody that knows me knows that. But there's lots of people out there that haven't employed me yet, and I need for them to not really know that. And that's why my Twitter account is turned off at the moment. Actually, I'm looking for jobs.
You shut it off completely?
Yeah, try looking for it.
No, I actually always laugh because it's always come up as Mrs. Colby Simon's wife.
Yeah. I've been Mrs. Colby Simon's wife for a while. And I will be that person to your listeners because I've just signed a social media contract for a school, which means I'm not allowed to say anything on any media at all, ever.
What do you mean?
You know, you're not allowed to have a life. You're not allowed to laugh, you're not allowed to swear. No. Anything that could be misconstrued as a bad example to small children.
Have they Googled who you are?
I did warn them. I warned them. But actually, they've been the most accepting and the most tolerant of any employer I've had in Australia, which is really strange considering...
I love how you're saying all this. You've got a can of Prosecco and you're wearing a T-shirt that says inferior.
Yeah. And clutching a medical virology textbook.
And what's this new job?
I'm not telling you.
Okay, thank you.
Just let me just say it's working. I'm working in a school.
Yeah, I was going to say you're influencing the minds of young...
No, I'm trying not to.
What are you doing then?
No, I'm trying to influence their minds to buy clothes from the op shop most of the time. That's the main thrust of my influence, which is don't buy new stuff from Uniqlo and H&M. Fast fashion is evil. That's basically the message I'm giving them.
Why? I mean, I know why, but why?
Why? Well, that's because fast fashion is damaging to the environment. Did you know one pair of jeans, young man? I got my lecturing.
Okay.
I'm pointing the finger at you now.
Yeah. Why do all my friends point? All my friends, I swear to God, and all of them, at least 3 of them that I've brought onto this podcast in the last 3 years.
Because we're sitting too far away to poke you.
But they all wave their fingers.
You need a webcam in here. Like, seriously.
I'm telling you, they
need
all
to
do it.
get GoPro in the corner.
Aurora, who
next
used to come on here, she fucking waves her finger. We had dinner a couple of weeks ago. She does it. My mate Simo, who's come on, he's proud of it. He pontificates. He says, I waved my finger at them.
I'm waving my finger.
Yeah. You're all the same.
We're all pontiffs.
Yeah. Pontiffs?
We're all pontiffs. I'm a pontiff.
Okay.
I don't think you're allowed to be a pontiff with a vagina, but, we can gloss over that.
No.
I might be the first.
Actually, that's something I wanted to talk to you about. The,
vaginas? Okay,
no.
good. Happy to help.
No. Transgender athletes. I got to remember to bring that up.
Oh, God.
I wanted your take on it.
Yeah, well, I've got friends who are transgender, who are athletes. So, yeah.
Going which way?
I'm not telling you that. Does it matter?
That's the key. Yeah, that's the key to the actual discussion.
It doesn't actually matter.
Okay.
Because actually, once you reverse the hormones, the benefit changes. Basically. You still have the skeletal height advantage, but you don't have the muscle advantage.
You're telling me that... Okay, wait. Are we actually opening this up right now?
Yeah, go on.
Go on then.
Go on then. Reminds me.
Go on then.
Go on then.
You're the worst. All right.
You asked me on here. You know. You do the rest.
I know. I'm an idiot. All right. Screw it. I'm going to use this phone to Google. I'm going to use the other one to read. It's fine. Laurel Hubbard. Yeah.
Laurel Hubbard. Don't know who they are.
Yeah. Okay.
Good luck to them.
That could be anything. That could have just
I wish them well.
I could have named a rapist, like God knows what.
Look, if I don't know anything about them, I'm not going to judge them.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what the deal is.
Okay.
Laurel Hubbard is a transgender weightlifter from NZ.
Okay, yes.
Yep. And it's basically just smashing records.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I've heard this argument come up a lot, and I'm neither here nor there. I'm still sort of trying to figure it out. And then the science behind it seems pretty clear, but everyone seems to have conflicting arguments. Yes.
That's because not everybody's a scientist. They get confused.
Now, I may not be a scientist, but I play one on TV.
Yeah, exactly. I could wear a white coat.
Yeah.
Put a stethoscope around my neck.
I should do every podcast in a white coat.
Yeah.
I'm a scientist. No. It's essentially the same argument as like the golfer. I can't remember what her name was. Transgender athlete, one of the first ones. And she was
Look, golf has no athletic abilities attached to it.
They can't.
Honestly.
Whoa. There's probably the whole community of athletes right now.
I'm just going to totally slam. Have you seen John Daly? Seriously?
Yeah.
He used to win a lot. Literally, Tiger Woods was the first fit-looking golfer on the tournament.
Actually, have you seen Greg Norman lately?
I bet you he's the size of a house.
He's shredded, man.
Oh my God, he's shredded.
He looks
Seriously.
like a sugar daddy.
When he was playing, he looked like not very skinny. It's a bit like Shane Warne. Bless him.
Hey, come on.
When he was playing, he was a bit of a fat bastard, but then he got skinny when
he got off the darts, and then yeah.
And then Liz Hurley took him in hand and then sorted him out.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for him, but I still think it's a cop-out, man, that she could never commit to the man because he had...
Well, I had met at an orgy, come on. You don't go to killing kittens orgies to meet husbands.
She also killed off Hugh Grant like that because he'd copped that blowy from that hooker in the States.
Yeah, well,
No, I'm serious. I remember I don't want to get off on celebrity gossip right now. I'm just saying. Hugh Grant, man.
I met him in Barcelona airport once.
Did you?
No, not me.
Oh.
One of my mates.
Oh.
She had a fainting fit or something, and they took her into the VIP section to wait for a plane. And Hugh Grant,
before she saw him.
Before. And so she was in there with her husband, chatting to Hugh Grant. He's a really nice guy. And actually, he did a really good, during the last election, the Brexit election in Britain, I was quite impressed.
Yeah, I remember that speech, yeah.
But the thing where he actually recorded the Sun newspaper guy that he found, like, broken down on the
Yeah.
side of the road. That was just hysterical.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
No, not that.
You have
I remember
to
reading about it.
Did I send it to you? I think I did once.
I don't know.
I think I did.
I know you sent me a lot of crap. Like,
I sent you so much
no,
crap.
but you send me stuff at like random hours.
Well, that's because I, like, don't sleep.
But it's like, exactly like this conversation we just started now. I'm still going to get back to the genes. Or
Oh,
Karen
sorry.
and Steve Jobs.
Karen Steve Jobs.
We weren't even finished with the Mikado.
I'm sorry. No, the
Okay, hang
Mikado's
on.
not that interesting.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah.
We're on transgender.
Transgender.
Might as well finish
Okay.
this. Okay.
Okay, so
No.
this person is a weightlifter from New Zealand.
She's a
Okay.
weightlifter. Yeah.
She, right, okay. So
Okay.
she's transgender
She's
that way,
gone
okay.
she's gone from being a man.
Yep.
And she's basically just smashing records like all over the place, right? Records that were set up that have, there are records that stand, 100 years, and there are records that just get beaten every year based on genetics and training and, all that sort of shit, right?
Yeah.
Because as human beings, we're getting stronger and,
Well, that's it, and taller and
Yeah.
fit and just...
and all that sort of stuff.
And maturing earlier.
Yeah. And not only that, athletes are benefiting from like sports technology, sports science,
Yeah,
being
absolutely.
bred to
Well,
break
that's
these
it.
records, basically.
Absolutely.
But then, even so, the argument is that, say, with this weightlifter, she's come in and just basically destroying these sort of records that have been around for however long. And sure, they said that, I remember they were bringing it down to testosterone levels and shit like that.
Well, that's it. They do bring it down to
But
testosterone levels.
the argument is that,
But the thing is that there's real women, okay,
Yeah.
actual women with XX genotypes.
yeah,
Their actual sex is female.
yeah.
That have really high testosterone.
Oh, no.
And they have also, what's her face? The South African lass.
Yeah, I remember her.
Oh, and that's the flip,
That was a massive thing.
that's the flip side of
Yeah,
that.
it was like China, the wrestler that passed away about 10 years ago. She was huge. She was the first woman to compete
Yeah,
with
but again,
men.
China's not great track record.
No, not China as in China, the country. China, the professional wrestler.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, name was
That's her
China.
name in China.
Yeah, Laurie
Right, okay.
something. I can't
Oh,
remember.
it starts with C, the lady from Africa. But,
Yeah, I remember her. I remember when she popped
But she
up.
was naturally overproducing testosterone
Yeah.
because guess what? There's the normal range that 95% of people fit into.
Yeah.
And then there's the outliers, okay?
Yeah.
In a normal population for any phenotype. And phenotype, okay, so your genotype is your
Oh, my
genes.
God. Okay.
I'm here to give some science talk. I'm here to give
pointing?
science talk. I'm
You're still pointing.
I'm beating.
I go by the book.
I'm pounding my fist on the medical virology textbook at this point.
I don't like that you're actually bringing facts to
Don't
this
bring facts to this
podcast.
podcast.
This is the wrong podcast.
Sorry.
For facts.
But
Nevertheless.
yeah, no, I'm bringing so basically, genotype is what's in your genes.
Uh-huh.
Phenotype is what then is demonstrated in real life.
Okay.
Yeah, and so people's testosterone levels is related to their genotype, but it's expressed.
Is this
so,
real?
Yeah.
Okay.
And men generally have higher testosterone than women.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, okay.
for, developmental reasons,
Yeah.
and most of them fall in the normal range. 95% of them fall in the normal range. But there's always the men with childbearing hips and moobs down one end,
Uh-huh.
and then the women that are really tall and athletic and
Yeah.
don't look very shapely and womanly at the other end.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And so they are the ones that are going to have a natural advantage over their
Okay.
sisters.
This is the point. The point.
But there's no difference between a trans woman sister who has a certain amount of testosterone and height than someone who has been naturally gifted with that by nature. There's
Okay.
no difference.
What the argument is that someone who has, say, lived as a man for, like, say, 25 odd years and gone to the gym and worked out, developed shoulders, all that sort of shit, they're saying that
No.
someone who's had that not benefit, but had that for 25
You
years,
only get the benefit.
dropping the testosterone
No,
level.
but when you start estrogen, this is
Yeah.
the thing. What you're not understanding is that the other.
I'm not.
I'm telling you.
I'm asking. It's not that I'm not
telling you.
understanding. I'm
Sorry.
just bringing up the argument
I'm just saying. For those of you who don't know,
Jesus.
it's all right. Sorry.
How often do I actually disagree with you?
Never.
Exactly.
Because you're too scared.
Fuck off. All right. Nah, no chance. Do you know what I disagree? I disagree with you when we're having an argument at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, usually. I'm
That's-
usually drunk.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're usually in your weakest sort of,
I may have sent you pictures of my foot yesterday.
I don't know. It's
like,
when,
what?
It's when I know your defenses are down and your
gonna attack.
ability to follow the argument is just low.
Because I've like drunk
It's
half
like,
bottle of
yes.
gin.
Rule of
Thank
war.
God.
Know thy enemy. But
Yeah.
piss off, all right?
Piss off, right.
I agree with you generally,
back to the argument. Okay, so the flip side of having lower testosterone levels is that you have increased estrogen levels. Okay?
Assuming.
No, it's not assuming. If you are a transgender woman, you
okay.
are
I
taking
thought you meant... Yeah, okay.
HRT.
Yeah.
You are being chemically supplemented with estrogen.
Yeah, you're pumping...
And I'm waiting. I feel for my transgender sisters right now.
Yeah.
Because I am waiting to get HRT to sort out my, like, bad attitude and fat ass. Yeah? Because I need my estrogen topped up. Because it's like...
Your bad attitude.
It's called perimenopausal, like, you know...
You're wearing a T-shirt that says inferior.
Yeah, well, clearly, I'm totally confused. But the point is...
Bad attitude. That's all it is.
It's perimenopause. It causes bad attitude in a lot of women over 40. But basically, I'm waiting for HRT, and then I will have to play with the levels to get it right for me. And transgender women have to do the same. So they have their testosterone ablated and have their estrogen enhanced. And when you have your estrogen enhanced, guess what happens?
Tell me.
I will tell you. Your muscle changes. The actual composition of your muscle changes. So you might have worked for 25 years in the gym as some buff, testosterone-ridden meathead.
Yeah.
And as soon as you go off the testosterone, so as soon as you suppress testosterone and start taking estrogen, guess what? You turn all soft and fuzzy and womanly. Because that's all it is. Men are just women without estrogen.
I think
That's all you are.
I think the example with this weightlifter...
Overgrown clitorises and no estrogen. That's all you are.
Calm down.
No, seriously. You need to do developmental biology. They'll tell you the same.
I don't have time to do developmental biology.
Everybody's female until a certain point in the womb when the switch for men gets turned on.
I think the argument is, say, with this weightlifter in particular, is that she looks jacked as fuck. It's not like she's...
Yeah, but you can do that as a woman. I know women that look like that. That have never taken testosterone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can actually, if you build... And again, if you're giving your body those signals... You actually suppress your estrogen and you can actually start to produce testosterone as a woman. I mean, look at me.
Like I said...
My estrogen's dropping, so my testosterone is going up.
Uh-huh.
So I've become more antsy and aggressive.
I see. I'm not...
Don't give me that eyebrow, young man.
I'm not... Like I said, I'm not one way or the other. I'm still waiting for the maths to come out on it, as in...
No, but that's basically the biological facts behind all of that, is that... And I have a trans woman friend who I have been through, you know, I've known her just after she actually started presenting as a woman.
Yeah. And
so, but then I've seen pictures of her over time, of her body changing.
Yeah.
And becoming more womanly. And it does.
Yeah,
sure, she's 6'4".
No, it does.
Gotta say, she's still 6'4".
Yeah.
But she would show me pictures of before she became trans, and she's a completely different person.
No, I know. I agree with that.
And so you do, you know, the hormonal milieu. Sorry, I'll just throw that in there. Milieu.
The hell is that?
Background.
Okay. I don't know.
The environment.
Okay.
The hormonal environment. It's a French word.
Yeah, I assumed it was French.
Yeah. But basically, the hormonal soup that your body is washed in actually creates the phenotype. And so when you change that synthetically, as you do when you're trans, and I have friends that are trans men.
Yeah.
And they're going, oh, I'm so glad I got rid of estrogen. I'm like, I hate you right now. They're just like, so glad I'm not going through menopause. Like, so glad that I'm not having that problem. And I'm like, it's fucking killing me. It is killing me right now, this perimenopause. It just sucks. It just changes your cognitive abilities, your ability to focus, your ability to sleep, your ability to reason and be logical. It's a nightmare. Because it was in careful balance with estrogen and progesterone. Yeah. Controlling everything. And now all of a sudden it's stripped away and you've become basically a bloke. So I am now more hormonally like a bloke than I was 5 years ago.
That makes sense.
So maybe I should take a
You're definitely more animated than the last time I saw you. I think the last time I saw you were getting an award. Was that the last time I saw you?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I don't get awards anymore.
No, you did. Out in,
bullshit.
Fucking Preston somewhere, Brunswick.
Preston?
Yeah. Your kids were there as well. Is that bowls club?
Oh, yes, that was an MS thing. No, that was like a cripple award. Awarded for being
so
cripple.
It doesn't count?
No.
What do you mean?
It wasn't. I wasn't awarded for my merit. I'm used to being awarded for merit. I'm not used to being awarded because of my identity.
Okay.
So that was
All right. Yeah, but that was the last time I saw you. Yeah, you were definitely a little more
Well, I was on my best behaviour.
Yeah, actually, that's true. Yeah,
and
you
I had my kids in the room.
Yeah, I was going to say your kids are there, and you also
I was having to be
surrounded
good.
by
Worthies. I was having to be nice to the worthies that were giving me money. Of course, I was well behaved. Honestly.
I got to send this in to them when they hear it.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Okay. I think you know what with the whole sporting argument thing. Like I said, I'm still waiting for it to sort of.
But can I just say to you, on my way here today,
Okay.
I had two what appeared to be trans women try to wash my windscreen at the corner of Victoria Street and Punt Road.
Uh-huh.
Now, trans women are the most likely to be unemployed in our society, apart from Indigenous people.
Okay.
And so the fact that there appeared to be two trans women washing windscreens to make money in a cashless society, I just shook my head and said, well, no way.
I don't know. Wait, no way what?
Well, I had no money, so I couldn't give them any money because I didn't have any.
Well,
but I mean,
my entire life I've seen people washing windows.
Yeah, but it's like one step up from begging. Like, it's literally, like, it's that, the thing that you do when you can't get money any other way.
No, it's a job. It's not a job.
No, it's not a job. It's begging. It's
You're still
begging.
providing a service.
Yeah, to the people who want it, but it can get ugly if you don't want it.
Well, it can if you've got the wrong attitude.
Yeah, no, these people were good. Like, when
well,
I
that's
said
what I'm saying.
no, they were fine. But I have had those windscreen washers, and usually the ones with too much testosterone, gotta say. They were possibly the most polite ones I've ever met. That would start cleaning your window without asking. And I would turn on my windscreen wipers and start...
You are a bitch.
Like, no, you can't. No. It's like, I'm unemployed too. Yes, I'm driving a nice Nana Camry. But, you know, it's like today, I'm like, I can't give you money because, A, I don't have any cash on me. I don't have any coins because I don't carry coins.
Yeah, I feel bad. I had breakfast the other day and there was a girl singing and I wanted to give us money and I had
But
nothing
even the
on me.
big issue sellers now take, like...
Do they?
Yeah, they take, like, Venmo or something.
Nah, just the tap and go, whatever.
No, they don't have Tap and Go.
Really? What do they have?
It's some app.
Okay. I've never picked up a copy of The Big Issue.
But no, I always chat to the big issue sales.
Have you ever read one?
Yeah.
What are they?
They're good.
No, but like not the vendors, the book.
It's just
The
a magazine. It's just like the Lift Out. It's a sort of social justice magazine.
Is it? No. Like, I figured it
good.
was, but I've never actually read one.
Good. They're like $12 or something now.
$12?
Yeah.
What?
They used to be 10.
Who would pay $10 for that magazine?
Well, the whole point is that
Pornos cost less than that.
porno's free.
Yeah, well...
Hello. Anyone that pays for porn is stupid.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah, hello.
I just remember seeing
Can
the
you
magazines.
not Google that shit?
Speaking of which, they got rid of People and Picture and all that shit.
Good.
Yeah, they're finally gone.
Fucking hate those.
Why?
But in England,
Page 3 girls.
Page 3 girls.
Yeah.
And I always had a problem. I was like, you know, there's all these like feminists in England. I'm like, but you've still got Page 3 girls on the stand where my kids can see them. Like, I don't have a problem. I love, you know, I absolutely have no problem with the sex industry and sex workers, but there's a time and a place, and it should be between consenting adults. And so when it's part of day-to-day news literature where you're trying to learn about the weather and what's on TV, it's just not the right place.
I think Page 3 girls is a bit outdated.
They're so outdated.
Yeah.
It's like if every second day was some, you know, beefed up man, it wouldn't be so bad.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the only reason why I think it's outdated, because the paper's bought by everyone, not just men.
Correct. And so, you know, it's just such an anachronism. And we got,
So then what's your beef with the Picture magazine, which is clearly targeted at a certain audience?
because it was still available on the same newsstands as
but
children's literature.
They cover the shit up. Yeah.
They never used to.
No, I'm pretty sure they started taping.
Oh, they did start
they?
to.
I thought they did. I can't remember. Maybe I'm wrong.
In the UK, they hid all the actual pornos, so proper pornos were hidden.
Yeah.
But then all the other soft porn stuff was out.
Yeah.
And so that was a problem, that I didn't like the soft porn stuff being in my face when I'm trying to digest news.
Okay. What about all the women's mags with headlines?
They have women on the front.
Yeah, but they got headlines like, you know, please your man with these oral techniques and shit like that.
Yeah, well, you know what? Who's that serving? Men. It's the patriarchy, dude. Patriarchy.
So you're saying women's mags are
The women's mags are worse. They are the worst internalized patriarchal bullshit that you'll ever come across. I hate women's mags. I haven't read one unless I was in a hairdresser.
I've got a big problem with them, but
I don't like them at all.
I'm trying to picture you in like a salon with one of those mags. I can't. It's leaving me feel like really creeped out.
Yeah, nah.
Okay, so what's the problem with women's mags in your eyes?
Well, they only present one form of womanhood. And so they have a very limited, they offer women a very limited sort of ambition, and I don't like that. Anything that limits women's ambition.
Did you watch that clip I sent you the other day?
Probably. The one that I couldn't start because I had a small child.
This is what I tried to send you the other day.
Well, you sent it to me. I got it.
You know, we fight a lot over television, you know, so I don't know. I've kind of come her way, she's come my way. She watches a little bit of sports. You know, I occasionally will watch like a romantic comedy, which, you know, I don't care. You know, the nerd's going to fuck the cheerleader. I'll watch it, right? I don't mind them. It's an uplifting story. I just don't like the love scenes in romantic comedies. They creep me out. They're just so fucking nice. It's like missionary style. There's candles. That stupid saxophone music.
Is that your bass?
It always
I'm
goes
sure
down.
you sent me a bass clip
Like the
from that the other
saxophone
day.
denies the penetration, right? Because they can't show it. They got to make her this one-dimensional, this little angel. They ignore the other 90% of her sexuality. No hair pulling, no ass slapping, none of that
Disappointing.
shit. None of that taboo stuff of a woman's sexuality that's never brought up. You know, that whole hold me down, but let me up, but hold me down. Choke me, but let me breathe, but kind of scare the shit out of me a little bit. I want to feel your power, but I want to be safe, but let me know if you really want it to. You know, that whole 50 Shades of Rape, whatever the hell that is. Yeah. I don't even pretend to understand.
That is what pisses me off.
I would never shag this guy.
A little bit.
I would never have sex with this man. He clearly knows nothing about women.
I was going to say,
Turn it
clearly...
off. Old white man knows nothing about women. Turn it off.
You know what's funny?
Nothing.
I literally...
You watch that and thought, she's going to go mental.
No, I literally fed this comedian. Yeah, I've seen him live. This guy's considered a comedian's comedian.
Really?
A lot of his stuff is based on hypocrisy, what he perceives to be hypocrisy in social standards. Right?
Yeah, but he's American. He doesn't understand anything.
I know, but I literally I took one of the most
no idea.
in your face male centric comedians and fed it to a feminist. Like I've got a death wish.
And did I watch it? I just went, I'm not rising to that bait.
Yeah. No.
Fuck that shit. But I'm a sex positive feminist.
The one thing that I
My
like...
problem with him
No.
is that he's scared of non-vanilla sex. So
No,
he's clearly
that's
not
the point. His point, and he said it before, is that like what he was saying was romantic comedies hide.
Oh, they're
a
awful.
woman's- Yeah,
They're
they hide,
awful.
and that's the point.
Yeah, but that's what women are fed all the time. If you watch the
that's what
TV
shits
lately,
me.
shits me too.
That's what shits me.
Married at first fucking sight. What the hell?
Yeah.
What even is that?
I don't know, but that's the point. I hate the fact
They
that...
made me watch it when I flew to England. I was picked up from the airport with a 20-year-old girl, and she was like, she made me watch it, and I was just sitting there going, "What the hell is this?" It's like 50 Shades of Personality Disorders.
But that's the point. I hate the fact that I've raised this before on the podcast before. I've said it. I hate the fact that media, especially, hides that element of women's sexuality.
Oh, well, it's the saint sinner thing. It's the,
Yeah.
what do I call it? The curse of Eve.
What that does is it leaves other women out there thinking, even though, like...
Well, not if they talk to me. Gotta say.
No, but I hate that.
Not my
I hate that fucking saying, a lady in the streets but a freak in the sheets. I fucking hate it. Because it's almost implying like you can't admit that you actually have a sexuality beyond vanilla.
You can't. And then if you start harping on about sexual harassment at work, when you have a sexuality that is sex positive, and you have a lifestyle which is considered queer by straight people because it involves other people than your partner.
Yeah.
Then,
other than like you have a sexuality that's beyond the norm of what society is.
Correct.
Yeah.
And as soon as you step outside of that sort of cis heterosexual monogamy, you're stuffed.
Yeah.
But we're all underground. Like, they're all my mates.
I know, but that's what shits me. And those fucking magazines.
We shouldn't have to be underground.
Those magazines, those movies.
Yeah, they're all pushing the agenda. But, I mean, who owns those magazines?
Yeah.
All white men.
You reckon? Oh, you mean the actual companies that?
Yeah,
own it?
the
of
actual
course.
companies. Who makes the editorial decisions for all of those magazines?
Yeah, that's
Old
why.
white men or women that are handmaidens of the patriarchy.
That's why I used to laugh every time that Beyonce "We Run the World" fucking song keeps coming on, and women like get all up in. I was like, dude, men own the record label and they wrote the fucking song. Like, are you serious?
Yeah, she does pretty good. She does all right though.
No,
She knows how to play the game.
she makes money, but
She knows how to play the game. That woman, she is absolutely playing the game with her other half. They're a power couple. Like seriously.
they know how to make money.
Yeah.
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 I can't stand her music, but they know how to make money. I'm not going to deny that.
You know, I since all the single ladies was that last thing I listened to of Beyonce's. I gotta say,
I can't picture you listening to Beyonce.
we used to dance around the lab in our lab coats.
Really?
The Beyonce, absolutely. Oh, the single ladies.
Oh my god.
Gotta put a ring on it.
Jesus Christ. Picturing every wedding I've ever been
Come
to.
on. Yeah, how many times you had to listen to that when they go to their wedding disco? Come on.
No, it's the standard, the
single ladies.
bouquet toss.
Yeah, it's the
standard
bouquet toss. Exactly.
Yeah, the garter, when the garter comes out, it's always genuine
look.
pony, standard.
Yeah. I saw one of my friends today on the way here, and she was covered in love bites.
Okay.
And I just went, what the hell? And she's like, mm-hmm. And I'm like, well done, you know.
Well done.
And
That's so sterile.
And then she said, oh, well, I was much more excited than that. But, and then she said, feminism has done us no favours. I'm like, yes, it has. Like, seriously, it totally has. Don't even go there. She's one of those anti-feminist women. But it's common amongst my friends that come from a country background that have grown up in regional Australia. Very common.
Anti-feminism as in what?
As in thinking feminism has just got men too defensive to deal with. And I'm like, no, you just need better men. Go find some better men. I know that's challenging to find them. I've got to admit that. You may need to leave the country because Australia is just full of arseholes.
Yeah, but the women are arseholes as well.
Correct. Absolutely.
Underlying...
Most of the arseholes I've had recently are women.
Yeah, but
equal opportunity arseholery, I say.
That's what my common theme is.
Yeah.
Everyone's an arsehole. Don't try and divide it into gender.
But it can be.
It can be.
It can be, and there is systematic issues that can be divided into gender.
Yeah, depending on environment.
But it also
gender,
there's also stuff that can be divided into. Like, I'm a disabled person. I'm trying to get a job at the moment as an out disabled person. Yeah. Now, if I was an out gay person, out queer person, which I sort of am, depending on.
No, you're talking about the traditional sense of whatever society deems as gay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you get more of a chance as a gay person than you do as a disabled person in recruitment.
Do you know what I remember?
50% of disabled people are jobless, and I'm one of them.
I remember, this was probably one of my earliest...
And, why would we need scientists with emerging infectious disease experience in our society? I can't think of anything that we would need scientists like that for. The mind boggles.
I remember one of my earliest rantings ever. I would have been about 18 or 19. I think I would have just gotten a job, like my first sort of full-time job outside of school. And it was about the 25th of March parade. Do you know much about it? Greek Independence Day is the 25th of March.
Really?
Okay. And every year they do a...
Is it we're going to have the Macedonian argument
No,
again?
we're not going to have the Macedonian Macedonia. To cover that, the Macedonian issue is no longer an issue because the Greeks sold out. You're probably not aware of that.
Oh, I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, they basically sold...
Really?
They sold naming rights to the Slavs up north. They're allowed them to use the name North Macedonia.
Right, I did see that there was a North Macedonia, but
they sold out.
Frankly, I was too scared to ask.
There were riots issued all over. There was riots everywhere.
There's been riots so many places.
Yeah, the Prime Minister just basically sold everyone out.
I've only been keeping track of the Lebanon riots, to be honest.
I haven't even seen them.
Exactly.
There's
my riots
point.
everywhere.
And I'm usually on top of that, man. I've got a lot of Arab friends that usually keep
Yeah, no, well, Lebanon has gone off lately. Yeah. But yeah, you're focusing on the Macedonian.
Well, this was years ago. Anyway.
No, this is just now.
Okay, what I'm saying is it's no longer an issue. The Greeks sold out.
Right, okay.
That's it. No, what I was saying was one of the earliest little rantings I ever had was the Greek March thing came on, and I want to take usually not every Greek, but in Melbourne they do like a Greek March up to the shrine.
Yeah.
Minute silence, la la la, at the Shrine of Remembrance. And the Greek community in Melbourne usually gets like all their social clubs, their Greek schools, all that sort of shit, and they all just march. They're parade, national colours, emblems, all that sort of crap. Well, nothing's illegal, like it's all done under the law. And then they go to Lonsdale Street and they have a festival which they just had the weekend that just passed.
Yep.
Now, I remember I wanted to get the Sunday off for whatever, to go see it. And someone was inviting me, and I was like 19 years old, and I said, there's no way I'm going to be able to get like a day off to go do this thing. Like, what do you mean? And then I remember, you couldn't get that day off to go and celebrate your national identity, but I remember I wrote like a hypothetical conversation between an employer and an employee, and the employee said, well, there's this parade coming up, which means a lot to me. It really, it's got a lot to do with my identity and who I am as a person, and it would mean a lot for me to be able to go. And the employer was like, oh, what is it? Yeah, no problem. What is it, some sort of gay thing? It's like, no, it's actually Greek National Day. It's like, shut the fuck up and go back to work. I remember, I was 19 when I put that thought together, because it was the truth.
To be fair, I had a similar conversation with my employer when I had tickets to the grand final. Because I worked on a Saturday.
Bogan Pride.
North Melbourne was in the grand final for the first time ever in my life. And I had tickets. I had fucking tickets. And my employer, who I have known...
I love how you put in North Melbourne there with Greek National Day.
Greek National Day. It's totally the same. I'm a white person derailing that conversation. Yeah. Here I am.
Blue and white on both sides.
Yeah, blue and white. Similar. I've just come from Footscray, where I was admiring some Greek architecture that's now been translated into Vietnamese businesses. I'm like, that's multiculturalism. I'm like, what the hell is that clearly Greek building doing with Nguyen and Sons advocates?
It's actually Nguyen.
Exactly. You know me. I can't pronounce anything.
I grew up in Clayton.
I can't pronounce any foreign names. I'm so white. I'm like whiter than white. I'm like hydrochloride bleach. It's that white.
Yeah, but all your sciencey terms are Greek.
Yes.
And you can pronounce them.
Pleiotropic.
Yeah, okay.
Was one of the ones.
So therefore it becomes... That was an argument. I've had this conversation heaps. That was an argument about...
Exactly. I can pronounce the sciencey terms, but I can't pronounce anything else. Yeah, correct.
The same words.
I'm just rubbish.
No, that's not rubbish. It's called tolerance and patience, man.
I'm just rubbish.
No. There was I brought this up years ago. There was a comedian or a journal or something, and she was subcontinent. I can't remember if she was Pakistani or Arab or something like that, and she had a name that was fitting. I can't remember what it was. And she got tired of changing her name to something Western.
Yeah.
And she said, it's bullshit because there are families out there and parents and who educate their kids to learn names like Dumbledore and Lord of the Rings names and Hunger Games names and all that shit.
That's true.
With names that are Mid-Earth inspired. They've got, 1,000 consonants, but they can't pronounce a 3-syllable fucking word.
Oh, that's true. I am totally guilty of this bullshit.
Yeah.
I am absolutely guilty of it. I do try. I had a PhD student once that had 2 names. He had his African name.
Yeah.
And his Western name, and I would only call him his African.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, that's your name.
That's your name.
The one your mother gave you, that's your name.
That's your name. That's
the
what you grew
one you've had to adopt because you're trying to fit into white culture is not what I'm going to call you because that's not your name.
I understand why my cousins did it in the 80s and 70s.
But and then I've known, people I've worked with that are Iranian, that have had really long Islamic names that have shortened them.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to them and saying, are you sure your family's going to be okay with it? Because this is the thing, it can offend the previous generation in the family when you're actually rejecting the name. But, I mean, I've been through that myself. As a woman, every woman goes through this. I'm here to tell you. No matter what colour the woman is, she goes through it if she's a feminist and says, I'm keeping my own name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Every woman goes through this. Every woman.
Yeah.
Where they offend their family by offend one of the families by not taking their husband's name.
Yeah.
Now, my kids have double-barreled names.
Yeah.
And I've said to them, if you want to change your name to just one of those later, go for it.
But the other choice of picking
they have the choice. When they turn 18, they can choose. It's all power to their elbows. Like, I won't be upset. But
I don't have a problem with double-barreled names.
But the problem is if you're taking kids through an airport and your name is not matching the names on their passports.
Yeah, actually, was
as a mother,
case about this? Yeah.
You can be accused of, child stealing. No one would want my children. Like, honestly, no one would steal these children. No one. They're mine.
No one would steal these children?
Okay, someone might steal my daughter. She's pretty cute.
What is wrong with you?
No one would steal my other children. But, I'm more worried about my dog being stolen these days, frankly.
Yeah, actually, your Instagram feed's all about your dog.
It's all about the dog and the cat.
You were sketchy with that dog too.
What do you mean sketchy?
No, as in like with the teething issues and you were sort of. I remember.
What do you mean sketchy? I can't believe it. You mean sketchy?
Okay, let's just backtrack, okay? Because we still have the Mikado, we still have Women's Day patriarchy.
You got a whole
and we
list of
still
shit
have
there.
we still have Steve Jobs and Karen.
Oh, Karen.
Okay, what were you saying about Steve Jobs?
Steve Jobs, right. So Steve Jobs had pancreatic cancer.
Yeah.
But despite the fact that he was one of the richest men in the world,
Yeah.
he decided to reject the best medical help that he could get for his cancer and decided to go the Karen route. Karen with lavender oil route. Now, for those of you listening, I'm going to use Karen with lavender oil as the catch-all term for alternative therapies. Which is where...
Shit that doesn't work.
Shit that doesn't work. Yeah, shit that doesn't work. Which is where you hope that herbs and eating, I don't know, quinoa will cure your cancer. Steve Jobs, smart man, but stupid, okay? He wasn't only a bully, he was also stupid. Yeah, he bullied his employees, and he was also stupid. Because he decided to go the quinoa, Karen, lavender oil route, whale song route.
Whale song?
Well, like, you know. Yeah, whale song. They totally feed that to you in the birth suite when you're trying to birth. You're like, seriously, I'm trying to push something the size of a watermelon out of my clacker. I don't need whale song and lavender oil. Just fuck off.
The drugs. Where are the drugs? I was promised drugs. Drugs I shall have.
I had drugs the first time, and the second time, no drugs. My daughter was just too quick. There was no time for drugs. And they actually offered me drugs afterwards.
Yeah?
They said, would you like the drugs now? And I'm like, too late. I'm holding the baby. I'm like some warrior woman that's given birth without drugs.
Yeah. How many generations are doing it without drugs before that?
Lots.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been one of those women that's been ripped asunder by her small child rushing into the world.
That always gets me when women are parents generally, like, they freak out when a new kid's coming into town and it's like, oh, do you have this? Do you have this? Have you set this up? It's like, dude, pretty sure my great-grandmother was delivered like on a rock somewhere.
No, I did read, what was it? The Good Earth by Pearl Buck.
The Good Earth?
The Good Earth. Look, Google that.
Where do you find a book called The Good Earth?
Google that. Google that shit. You should read it, young man.
The Good Earth.
Read The Good Earth.
What the hell is The Good Earth?
The Good Earth by Pearl Buck was set as a Year 9 history text for me.
The Good Earth.
There we go. There it is. Pearl Buck.
Who the hell's Pearl Buck?
I don't know.
Okay.
Some random person writing about, like, Chinese peasants.
Dramatizes family life in a Chinese village in the early 20th century. Okay.
And that woman, I remember the woman in the book. Okay, so it was all focused on the man, because of course it was.
Yeah.
But the wife, the Chinese peasant wife, she went out into the fields, she gave birth, she strangled the child because it was a girl, and then walked back in and made dinner. Like, literally.
Wait, this is a fictional novel?
I don't know. But, I mean, it was represented to me as fact. It may be fiction. But, basically, the stoicism of that woman, I've never forgotten.
What was the character's name?
Oh, I don't know. Chinese lady. Chinese wife lady in the Good Earth by the Pearl Buck. I don't know.
Okay.
Because, you know, I'm that rubbish.
So Steve Jobs. He was an idiot because he went the Karen route.
He went the Karen route. He went the Karen with lavender oil.
He was up in arms with, like, science and technology. You'd think.
No, well, you'd think. You would think.
You would think.
He was in Silicon Valley. Like, he had UC Davis. He had all the UC University of California, University hospitals at his disposal. Like, he had literally the world's boffins on his
What was
disease.
his reasoning for it?
He just didn't want to. Thought herbs were going to help him because he was a sucker. Because, you know, most of those OT guys are not really savvy socially, and so he's very easily led.
You're just making a general call on
I'm
IT
totally
guys
just
being nerds.
Yeah.
What?
Totally.
The whole thing is about breaking stereotypes.
Yeah, I'm just going to make stereotypes. Let's remake them. Let's break them and then remake them. But he decided to go down that route, and there's lots of people that do. Not going to lie, I know people that do.
Yeah, I know. I've known people do.
I shake my head and I go, "Oh my god, what are you doing? What are you doing? Go get some chemo." But I mean, to be fair, if you've got pancreatic cancer, your chances of actually survival is pretty low. And
Yeah.
I have a friend at the moment that's runs marathons to try and keep her pancreatic cancer at bay, and she's had it chronically for about 10 years now.
No shit.
Like, she's the only person I know that's lasted this long.
Exercise generally is recommended, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, exercise is seen as a poly pill, so it's seen as a way, again, and coming back to the trans athlete thing, you can really get your body to change its environment by using bits of it. And so
Yeah.
she goes on marathon runs.
There was a boxer, Tommy Morrison, who was in Rocky 5.
Rocky 5. I don't think
the flop.
I got bored before that, before Rocky 5.
Rocky 5 was the
I think
flop.
I went to 2.
It's actually-
Which was the one with the Russian?
That was a 4th.
4th. That's the only one I've seen.
That was 84, I
Right.
think.
No, I didn't make it to 5.
What?
Mate, I'm that old.
Okay, look.
Was it Rolf Lundgren?
Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren.
What is...
Whatever. Rolf Dolph.
Rolf.
Whatever.
Okay. No. Rocky 5, right, stars this guy called Tommy Morrison. He was an actual boxer, and he was meant to be like an up-and-comer. He was going to smash it. Stallone found him and said, "You know what? This kid really does look good. We should chuck him in a movie." They put in a movie, and he was rising up the ranks, la, la, la. And he was a country kid who became rich, famous, usual trappings, and he just loved partying, loved women, all that sort of stuff.
Well, why wouldn't you if you're
Yeah.
coming from the country?
Gets HIV at some point. Yeah. And he was part of the movement of, what's it called? Breaking down that wall and that sort of negative view on it. So he started touring. No, it's in like the stereotype and all that sort of stuff, because he wasn't gay. This was in the late 80s, early 90s.
Well, it was Arthur Ashe, the tennis player, that was breaking
Magic
it down.
Johnson. He was
Johnson.
the other athlete, the
Okay.
basketballer. So
There was Arthur Ashe, the tennis player, was also doing that.
I got no idea who that is. But
Some guy.
Magic Johnson.
There was a tennis player.
He was
but
the
he got
first
it,
one?
He got it from a blood transfusion.
Yeah. I don't know where. I
Yeah.
think this guy got it from intravenous,
Yeah, it's usually blood transfusion.
Yeah. So he and Magic Johnson started touring the country together to break down that stereotype. Obviously, like a black athlete and a boxer.
And look now, AIDS is seen...
This is the problem. He started taking his meds. He started positive outlook, and he was actually back on track to box. He was in probably the best physical shape he'd ever been in. Put on size again.
Yeah.
Then because of some shrew that he was with, she convinced him that she was.
Are you using the word shrew in a pejorative sense?
Yes.
Rude.
She was.
It's International Women's Day in a minute.
I don't care.
It's Women's History Month. You're supposed to be nice.
She convinced him not only that he had cured HIV, that he had never had it at all. Convinced him
There's
to get
a
off
lot of crazy people.
Convinced him to get off the meds. Convinced him to do all this crap. He ended up dying, basically broke, and looked like He was 43 or something when he died, and he looked like he was 70. Just this.
Yeah, 43 is probably too old to be a professional boxer. Gotta say.
No, he'd stopped boxing at that point.
Oh, right.
But I'm pretty sure he didn't hit 40. He was somewhere around there. He was young. But because of the people around him, he just basically, his body
that's
just
it.
caved. But he had HIV, and he was taking all the meds, doing it all properly, and he was bulking up. Like he was actually.
Well, he would have done all
You
right.
would never have thought he was an AIDS victim. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens if you start rejecting evidence-based medicine. You're gonna crash and burn physically.
I don't reject evidence-based medicine. I neglect looking after myself.
Yeah,
That's the
that's
difference.
different. That's
because
different.
I'm running myself into the ground.
Yeah.
I hate the conversations I have with my friends where it's like, oh, blah, 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 what's wrong? Oh, I can't breathe, my chest hurts, this and that. Go to the doctor. No, I'm just going to wait and, I'll see. I took a Panadol or I had a nap or I had
There's no need in this country to do that. I mean, there's people in the US right now not going to see their doctor that have probably got coronavirus. you know? And the reason they're not going is because they can't afford to go.
Yeah,
Now, in Australia, we don't have that issue. We are absolutely privileged to be able to access really good quality healthcare for free.
Yeah.
And if you've got a sniffle, like my son stayed home from school today with a head cold.
Yeah.
And I said to him, you've got coronavirus. And he's like, what?
Why would you say that to your son?
Because he has.
How has he got coronavirus?
He's got a coronavirus. He doesn't
Okay.
have the coronavirus.
That's what I want to... You sent me that photo. Was that from that book?
I'm sending you... I'm gonna beat you over the head with this medical virology textbook.
In the name of Women's International
No,
Day.
in the name of coronavirus.
All right. You sent me a photo of that.
Yes.
And I was interested because people are sort of freaking out. This is what shits me.
There's no need to freak out.
Everyone's freaking out
I'm
about
gonna read it. I'm gonna read
like it's
you-
man-made and it's a conspiracy.
No, that's
mate,
bullshit.
these viruses have existed
You would
forever.
have made a better virus than that if you were designing it. Like, seriously, I could have done a better job. Like, honestly, you would not have made such a shit virus.
Okay.
It would be killing babies if it was a decent genetically engineered virus. Okay? No babies have died.
Introducing like the Holocaust here?
No
Part
babies.
2?
No. Influenza. If it was influenza,
Yeah.
babies would be dying, as well as old rich people on cruises. But at the moment, it's just franking. What are they called? The franking credits. It's a franking credits disease.
What's a franking credit?
If you're old and you have lots of money due to franking credits and you can afford to go on like luxury cruises,
Yeah.
you might die. Everybody else is going to be okay. Basically, you've heard it here first, folks. When you look at the stats of who's actually died
Yeah.
from the virus, it's totally skewed to old people.
Okay.
So people above 75.
Okay.
So we're going to have
Who are
like...
likely to die from a flu anyway.
You're more likely.
Yeah.
At least 10, 20, 50 times more likely to die
Yeah.
from the flu. As,
Okay.
as just a person on the street.
Yeah.
And, I love this. I was reading it today. And my old immunology textbook
I'm getting that photo.
from like 20 years ago. And to be fair, it needs some updating, got to
Okay.
say, because the Coronaviridae, as it's called.
These are going up, sorry.
Yeah,
I
no,
have to
that's
go.
fine. Basically, it was saying no convincing evidence has yet been obtained to link human coronaviruses with serious diseases affecting systems like the respiratory system. And I'm like, geez.
Wait, when was this?
David White and Frank Fenner in the 90s, you need to update this shit because there's been MERS and SARS and now this new one, COVID-19. But basically, Coronaviridae, the previous to the last couple of emerging infectious diseases from bats in China, it's the same family of viruses that cause the common cold. So it is about as deadly as the common cold for the main part of the...
Is that like SARS? When SARS came
Yeah.
out, everyone was shooting themselves? It's
Yeah.
like, dude, you get chesty.
Yeah, you get chesty. You get chesty and then you get over it. And that's the majority of people get over it. Now, I'm a person that has an immune system that is compromised, so my chances of getting over it are less likely than your average person's.
Yeah.
But I've had the flu whilst on my immunocompromised drugs, and it lasts 6 weeks instead of 2 weeks, you know.
Actually, yeah, we were both sick at the same time.
Yeah.
Like last year or the year before.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
last year.
No, I had mycoplasma last year, which is mycoplasma atypical pneumonia, but you can get that just from being
Yeah.
coughed on anyway.
And I had that infection where it started feeling like it was an appendicitis attack or something because
Yeah.
I'd ignored it in my chest and it worked its way down.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just
But,
remember
I
for
mean,
a period
you
we were
know.
both sick for ages.
Yeah, and if you get some kind of lung infection, you can be sick for ages. And the problem is that most older people, when they get a pneumothorax infection, can get really sick really fast and die.
Yeah.
But that happens anyway. Regardless of what's just come out of a bat in China, it happens anyway. And so we'll get to the point where this coronavirus will just start circulating like the common cold virus. Small children don't show the symptoms, so they're the vectors of disease, which
Yeah,
they normally
I was reading
are.
something about that before.
Yeah. No children under 9 have died in the first tranche of data that they took out of the WHO. No, none of them. Not zero. Like 0% of people had died. 20% of people had died over 80. And then the next 12% were over 70, and, you know, my age, your age, were basically 0.2%.
So what's everyone freaking out about?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
How many of these viruses would you say circulate without us knowing? As in, like,
Oh, tens, thousands.
like say, like the coronavirus becomes like a media thing.
Coronavirus. The problem is, this coronavirus is, but no one ever has a crack about, no one ever talks about mycoplasma,
Okay.
which I had, and it went round the school this year in my kids' school. All my kids had it.
Yeah.
It was awful. Like I had to take 2 lots of antibiotics to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And no one talks about it because it's just not a thing. Whereas this is a media beat up because it's out of China and it's the yellow peril. And
Yeah.
the yellow peril, it is. But Australia's had the yellow peril since we fought Japan in World War II.
Yeah, I was going to say, I always bring it back to the Osaka flu.
Yeah?
in Simpsons, there was a picture of Godzilla with like a cold compress on his head.
Yeah.
The dreaded Osaka flu.
But at the end of the day, we've got Hendra virus.
The hell's that?
It's a virus in the suburb of Hendra in Brisbane that causes hemorrhagic fever in horses and can be passed to humans.
Okay, this is the first time I'm ever hearing about this.
It's like Ebola for horses.
Okay.
Yeah?
But
And
humans can get it from horses.
absolutely. Vets have died.
Just being in
Just
proximity.
getting coughed on by a horse.
Picturing a horse coughing,
Yeah.
like actually raising a hoof and just going, "Ugh."
No, they don't cover their mouth.
No, but
That's the problem with horses. They don't cough into their elbow like they should. That's because they don't have elbows, you idiot.
Sorry. You know what I mean?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, come on, man. That's funny. Just picture a
Horses
horse.
don't have elbows. You can't cough into your elbow when you're a horse. Jesus
That
Christ.
is the goofiest.
This is what I'm working with here. Seriously. Is this podcast aimed at 12-year-old boys? I mean, what the hell?
Oh, man. That's
I've got
funny.
a 12-year-old boy. He's got more sophisticated humour than this.
That's still funny. All right.
Oh, dear.
Nevertheless, that virus still exists?
Yeah. And we've got a vaccine for it now, and it was created in Geelong. Yay, go Geelong. And I know the people that created it. Down at the Animal Health Laboratories, CSIRO Animal Health Laboratories in Geelong.
Okay.
Because they're the only Category 4, which is the highest level of containment.
Why is that? They've got like
facility.
a tunnel in a tunnel in a tunnel?
They're a box within a box within a box.
Yeah.
And so each box is protected by like gallons, like big tanks of formaldehyde, which you can just wash the whole area if there's an outbreak. And so if you get one leaking from one to the other, and I was there once when they set the alarms off, and I'm like, oh shit, someone's let Ebola out. Shit.
I was going to say, how
bit frightening.
test is it? Yeah.
No, it's good. They've never had an accidental release because it is that well designed, but it's starting to age. It's starting to get old, and so the
Cracks in the walls?
The cracks are starting. And so
God.
the federal government has to decide whether to fund it.
I was just going to say, I can picture them telling the government, saying, look, we're dying out here. We've got holes. We can see outside.
Yeah.
Relax. We'll
You'll be
send
fine.
someone down.
Just get some polyfiller.
Some old guy down. Just filling the shit up.
We're just going to get some, like,
That's
standing
totally-
foam. It'll be fine.
But it's sad that that's what I'm actually picturing. I'm actually picturing the government.
I don't think that the current
I wouldn't put
government...
it past them.
I wouldn't put it past them.
CSIRO in a lurch where it's we'll get to it next week.
But I mean, it's one of these times where, at the moment, all of the sort of emergency response is being activated with the scientists really quickly around the world, and I've been really impressed by the response. And even one of my old PhD students is working in the lab, Paul Young up in UQ, that basically had the first Australian vaccine candidate. That's now being tested in monkeys down in Clayton, the CSIRO.
Tested in monkeys?
Thank you. Do you want to talk about the baboon and the vasectomy?
Why not?
Why not?
The baboon and the vasectomy.
Oh, that was news
Why do I
last
feel
week.
like that needs to be like
Why have you not seen that
needs
online?
I was going to say, that needs to be like a stage play by you. Like
Look it up.
A one-woman
Google that
show.
shit. Google that. No, don't Google on your computer or you'll kill it. Use your phone.
No, I can do it.
You sure?
The baboon
Baboon RPA.
vasectomy. Okay. Hang on.
RPA.
Male baboon escapes Australian
There
medical
we go.
facility. Are you
Right.
serious?
Yeah, that was last week. Come on, keep up with the news.
Male baboon escapes Australian medical facility with 2 wives before vasectomy.
Yeah, he was like, no, you're not chopping off the meat and potatoes. No
How did
way.
he jerry to what was going on?
He was being moved, and someone wasn't paying attention, and basically they escaped and
Ran
started.
wild in Australia on Tuesday after escaping
You go,
from a medical
boys.
facility. Was set time to go
Boys and
vasectomy.
girls.
Trio got loose for being... What a legend of a chimp.
Yeah, no, I thought you'd like him. I thought
Gun!
he's a gun.
I want to adopt this thing.
But basically, and people
Oh,
are like,
Brad Hazard, your mate.
Brad. Surely not his real name.
That's what his name. Health
No.
minister. New South Wales
I'm
health minister.
sorry, you can't be a health minister with the name Brad Hazard. I won't allow it. You need something less hazardous, frankly.
Why would you give a 15-year-old male baboon a vasectomy?
Okay, let me explain this. It's a science reason.
Hang on, they didn't want him to continue breeding with the small troop he's in, so
Yeah.
in order for him to stay, the decision was taken Can't do that.
No. Let me explain this. Let me explain the science behind this. Okay?
I'm already not happy.
No, because what normally happens... What happens in baboon?
You know, I have access to an actual scientist, and what I've got is her explain to me why they're going to chop a baboon's nuts off.
Absolutely, because it's all about the science.
Yes, the science.
Okay, the science. It's all about. I'm sorry, I'm bringing facts to the show again. I'm so sorry. You know.
All right, go continue.
I haven't had enough Prosecco, clearly, to stop bringing facts. That's obviously the next can.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically, the baboon was living in a colony of baboons with his 2 wives. He's got 2 wives. I mean, it's nice that he gets to have 2 wives.
By the way, your PhDs are totally like just paid for themselves now.
Nothing to do with
Totally
animal
paid for
ecology. I'm just
themselves.
talking shit now. But basically, the baboon himself was getting a bit old, so he's 15, which in baboon years is middle-aged.
Are you just taking a stab?
No.
Is it like dog years, 7 years to 1?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
And so he was getting a bit old.
Okay.
And usually what happens in the wild when you're a male baboon in charge of a whole cohort of ladies...
Would the next alpha male come in and just sort it out?
And kill you.
Yeah.
And run you off into the distance, and you'd have to live in...
exile.
Exile for the rest of your life.
Jerking off.
Okay? That's totally what happens. That is
Baboon goes into
literally-
a cave,
Yeah,
living
that is
by himself.
totally what happens.
Puts on his old records, just waits
Hey.
time out.
Look, I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you. If that's what you do at home, that's your own fault.
Yeah, okay.
But that's basically what was going to happen to this guy. He was becoming to the point where his ladies were going to leave him and hook up with the younger model.
Okay.
And
At
so,
that point, it's the breeder's obligation to bring in a younger male, right?
yes, but...
How do you reckon that goes down? Do you reckon they parade a few around in front? I'm serious. Is it like the Bachelorette for
I
baboons?
don't know.
It'd be
Maybe
like
it
the
is.
Bachelorette.
Maybe it's like Married at First Sight.
No, but
I don't
they
know.
wouldn't. No, because the natural selection would mean that the alpha male eventually comes fall through
we're
the
not
pack.
that far from baboons, okay?
No, I'm saying. Yeah, and what I'm saying is...
But what I'm saying is,
How did we get
the
to make my point?
humans,
Yeah.
in this case, have decided to act to make him not sexual. So basically remove his...
Kill his spirit.
Kill his maleness.
Like every other woman on the planet.
Yeah, right, emasculate him.
Exactly. Right.
He's been emasculated. Because guess what? It's the only way he was going to survive the toxic patriarchy that he was about to get reintroduced to. It all comes back to the patriarchy, I tell you.
Jesus Christ.
It does.
They just fit him with a toupee or something and just let him live out his last days.
No, he had to smell different. So it's all about testosterone. Coming back to our earlier point.
Okay.
It's all
Full
about the
circle,
fact...
we're back to testosterone.
We're back to testosterone. I mean, it's all about the fact that he needed to basically not be fertile anymore. And so when he became infertile and sort of... dialed, and his testosterone was running out. But because he was seen as basically not male, to any incoming alpha males,
they would have just eventually...
They would accept him, and so he could stay in the colony. So that's actually what they were trying to do. They were vasectomizing him to
They were
try...
telling him what his place in society was going to be.
Which is emasculated.
Like, see how angry I'm getting?
I can see that.
This is the pen.
You're pointing the pen at me. Mate.
That's what they want to do. They want to change you.
You're a man of a certain...
They want to bring you down.
You're a man of a certain age. The hormonal changes are going to come for you soon.
Come on.
Have you considered becoming a trans woman?
Are you fucking... How did you go from... Seriously?
I'm just saying your testosterone's dropping.
Relax, all right? I'm wondering now how they pick the mates for the baboons.
I think the mates pick themselves. And usually...
But they'd have to bring in, busloads of potential suitors.
I don't think so. I mean, the fact that he's only got 2 wives suggests to me that their family colony is his 2 wives and any kids that they've had.
Okay, but this is we're talking about. Where was
But
this?
the problem is, it's actually about the women. It's about the women going to reject him because he's now a middle-aged fat bastard with boobs, and they're trying to get rid of him because they want some...
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
This is a question. No, this is a question.
Totally.
Do you reckon
they're wanting some action. His 2 wives are going, we're not getting any action from this dude anymore. We want some action.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How aware do you think baboons are about their environment? And they're
totally aware.
Totally aware, right? So do you reckon it's like in with prisoners, how they maintain communications with other prisoners in other...
Yeah, they do it with pheromones. Animals do it with pheromones.
You reckon they do it?
I mean, reckon. I know that.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
There's
I'm
evidence.
you know,
There's absolute evidence for that.
I may appear intelligent, but I am a lay person as well. Okay, so
Yes, there is evidence for that.
there is evidence to that. So do you reckon?
Pheromone signaling
do you reckon-
between animals is totally a thing.
Do you reckon they are aware of like some sort of glory retreat somewhere where there are like women, multiple women, and the
Are you
best
projecting
food?
now? Are you projecting?
No, I'm just saying. I'm thinking about the baboons
This sounds
here.
like baboon heaven. I think you're making up some bullshit cultural trope based on religion.
No.
And you need to stop projecting onto the
no,
baboons.
I'm just
They just
saying.
want to get some action and
But
keep
that's what
their
I'm
action.
saying. Do you reckon, like prisoners on transfer, they're all aware of like where they are? Like, oh, you're up in C division. Like, yeah, fair enough.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a baboon expert, but I do know.
I'd say primates in general, chimps.
Well, they're not stupid. They're about as intelligent as us.
Yeah, I was saying it to, who was I saying it to? Someone today or was it yesterday? I was saying how they taught primates, I can't remember what they were, chimps or whatever, they taught them the
Usually
value of
chimps.
money.
Well, chimps generally are the closest relatives we have genetically.
Yeah.
And so they're the ones that have been taught to like do sign language and everything.
They taught them the value of money and how it gets
You can
shit.
teach a crow
So
that.
Yeah,
You
so they
can
were
teach-
using it.
You can teach a guppy that. Like,
The
seriously.
chimps, they were teaching the chimps, after they realised what the value of money was, they were using it to exchange sex and, I think it was food.
Sounds like humans.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Once they learned the value of money, they were using it to buy sex and food.
That sounds like humans.
That's the best.
Well, it's just humans.
I know, but it's so
Sounds like
amazing.
humans. No, it's not amazing. It's it doesn't seem odd to me. Seems
Never-
normal.
Okay,
But again, in, primate worlds, you've got lots of women that are available to a small number of men
okay,
for sexual congress.
yeah,
Yeah? And so that's why you get the rise of the incel movement. Because incels are basically the beta males that have been run off because the women don't want to go there. Yeah, the females are like, yeah, get out of there.
yeah. But we're a society that's rejecting science.
Yeah, I know.
So there is no such thing as beta males.
I know.
They're just.
But the point is, if you look at primate activity and behaviour and then extrapolate to humans, then humans are the only, primate species that really goes with monogamy.
No, we are the
monogamy.
only. Yeah.
Bonobos are my favourite. I think they've got women in charge, and I quite like them. Them and meerkats.
Meerkats.
Meerkats. The meerkats are very interesting. It's a matriarchy, and the matriarch actually she allows her younger female compatriots in the sort of meerkat pack. I don't know what they call it, meerkat pack. I don't know what the collective noun for meerkats is. You can Google that shit later. But basically, it's the matriarch who decides who gets to have sex with who. And it's fascinating. It's
Meerkats.
really meerkats. Those little meerkats.
Oh yeah, I know. I was looking at the structure, the social structure and setup of bees and shit the other day.
Well, bees are very interesting too.
Yeah,
Because the men are just like
they're
sex
drones.
slaves.
They're just drones.
just sex slaves to the queen.
Yeah,
I love that. And it is a matriarchy. Like, bees are the ultimate matriarchy.
yeah.
And you're just like, wow, queen bees have it sorted. Like, they've got, like, they have it totally sorted.
How does it actually work though?
Well, it's because it's all about who provides the eggs, and it's that because the males are drones, they are genetically basically identical, and so any one of them can provide sperm.
The way men are seen.
No, well, I mean, no, but in humans you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't choose a sperm donor randomly.
Well,
You should.
I know plenty of women that would.
Yeah, but I don't know where you hang out. You need better friends. But
I say that all the time to people. You need better friends.
you need better friends.
Yeah.
But and that's a misconception. But there is a benefit to women in our society as humans to have children. Like, it's actually seen and we come back to the patriarchy again.
Oh my god.
I'm coming back to the patriarchy, where women's role, their peak role, is to procreate. They can't do anything else. Like, that is their primary objective, is to birth the next generation. And if they're not doing that, then they're not real women.
Wait, are you just going by what social structure suggests?
Yeah, it's social
okay,
structure.
cool.
Yeah,
I think, Jesus, get me a heart attack for a second. Like,
Social structure.
Did she fall on her head? Like,
Don't be rude.
No, I'm just
I have brain
saying.
lesions.
You're saying these total like opposite thing. I'm like, what? No, wait, you're talking about what society
I'm
says.
talking about the social license
Okay, and what do you
for
believe?
women. None of that shit.
Thank you. For the record.
For the record, none of that shit. I've rejected the social license put on women because it's toxic to women and men. And that's basically, you know, people confuse feminism with some sort of man-hating thing. And I'm like, no. It's actually wanting society to be better.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with that.
And it's, you know, it has a feminine name, but it's actually about equality and equity and making sure that everybody has a fair go and a level playing field.
Yeah.
And at the moment, you know, there's a level playing field for women to have babies by themselves, but men, they have to, if they want to have babies without a woman, they have to go to some pretty hard lengths to do that.
What do you actually have to go to?
You have to go to adoption.
Because
But you still have to be in a couple. You still can't be a single man.
I've got a lot of friends that have gone through like some rough divorces, and they've had to fight to keep custody of their kids. Sole bred winners had all the assets from before the union.
Yeah.
Like partners were, you know, substance abuse, all types of issues, but they still have to go through the ringer.
And that's because of the biases in the system, and it's systemic biases.
So I've never actually looked at it. So what would a man have to do in order to adopt a child on his own?
He couldn't.
Literally, like,
I don't think so. But I don't think a woman could either. But a woman now can access IVF.
I was going to say, yeah, women can access IVF on their own, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a man, to access IVF on your own, like I'm thinking of Elton John and his partner.
Yeah.
When they had babies.
Yeah.
And so there's been a few high-profile homosexual male couples. Yeah, it's Elton John. He could afford it.
He could open any door in the world.
Exactly. But this is the thing. You need to actually pay a surrogate in another country to do that for you. Because we're not allowed to have commercial surrogates here in Australia.
We're not?
No.
Okay.
So for a gay couple, and I think they make you show that you're like, you know, vanilla, straight down the line, you know, white bread kind of gay people before you can do this.
Vanilla gay people, seriously.
Well, there's I know plenty of vanilla gay people.
But what's vanilla?
Well, that's it. But, I mean, you know, monogamous. Okay, if I say vanilla...
So you have to prove that you're in a relationship.
You basically have to prove you're in a committed relationship before you can have children.
So that shits me, because you go to Doveton, there's women out there with like 8 kids to, you know, 7 different fathers.
You know, you don't need a license for a child, but you do need it for a cat.
Hey, I've seen... Look at your face. You're just looking around.
And a dog. You know, but I mean, what are the guys in this situation doing? You know, it takes two to tango. It's like, why aren't the guys wearing condoms? Why aren't the guys pushing for contraceptives so that they don't end up fathering children? Why aren't they doing that?
I'm not disagreeing with you.
You know, when I become Prime Minister, which is never.
You wrote that off the last podcast that you were here. I suggested it and you said no.
Well, if I did, let's imagine.
Okay.
If I did, I would force every person with a pair of testicles.
Yeah. I don't like where this is going.
Yeah, come on. Stay with me. Stay with me. It's okay.
I'm going to detain it just for you to get it out.
Let's go with me.
Let's hear it.
So everybody with a pair of testicles is going to have to undergo a reversible chemical vasectomy.
Why?
At puberty.
At puberty?
Yep.
Why?
Well, it's sort of like vaccinating against pregnancy. We vaccinate against measles. Why don't we vaccinate against pregnancy?
But that's insinuating that men are responsible for all the pregnancies.
Well, gee, aren't they?
Wait a second.
I'm pretty sure you can't get pregnant. I don't know. Let's talk about the biology of the situation.
Yeah, but then there are women that trap men like that as well. They lie about contraceptives.
Yeah, well, exactly. And why aren't men pushing for equality of contraception?
Okay, because maybe men in those situations are fucking stupid or not aware.
No. Men have not pushed hard enough. Men have left the job of contraception to women for far too long.
Okay, but what about women that lie about contraceptives? No,
I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking...
but they still exist.
And look, there'll be men that lie about contraceptives to women if we had a male contraceptive that's oral contraceptive. But...
They're nowhere near that, are they?
They have a couple of times.
Really?
But they have also got close to the dissolvable vasectomy, which is actually a lot easier, where you basically just put in a sort of gel...
Yeah.
Into the Vans Deferens.
I don't know what that
Vans
is.
Deferens. Look that up.
Oh, my God.
You know what happens when you get the scientists on the show.
Vans, how do you spell that?
Vans Deferens, maybe. It's Vans.
Vans Deferens as in DEF?
Yes.
Oh, Vans Deferens, yeah.
Yeah. So basically...
Why did it come up straight away?
I don't know. What have you been Googling on here?
Straight away.
What have you been Googling? Okay, so basically, you just need to block that tube to stop sperm swimming down.
So you get some of the polyfill in there and just...
You just get a bit of polyfiller, And they've designed one that now is dissolvable. So you can pop a little polyfiller in it, so a little pellet.
Yeah.
In each of them, there's two, obviously.
Yeah.
2 testicles, 2 Vendes, that's difference. And you can pop it in. It's no surgery. It's just an injection. It's done. You're now blocked up. The plumbing's blocked. You can still have semen entering your penis.
Okay.
But you can't have sperm being added to that because the sperm gets added at a different point.
But you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know.
You wouldn't
know.
Feel different though. They wouldn't.
Oh, for fuck's sake, no.
No, I'm just asking.
You can't feel the wigglers.
No, I'm just saying, would you feel that blockage, like, physically?
Well,
Because
I don't know.
surely there'd have to be, you'd feel something.
But, I mean, if you have a vasectomy, you have a little scar on the Vans deferens.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's about the same. Like, it's only a tiny... And I've had... In my arm, I've got a couple of scars here. I've had a couple of implant-ons that are the size of a matchstick implanted in me for contraception.
Yeah.
So, frankly, suck it up, boys.
Oh, no. I'm not against it.
I'm just saying.
What you're doing is like, what's it called? Forced sterilisation. That's your theory.
But it's reversible. It's reversible.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's not forced
You're lining
sterilisation.
them all up and telling me you're all as bad as the next one.
I just see it as a vaccination against unwanted pregnancies because the impact of unwanted pregnancies on our society is massive.
Would women have to, like, take some sort of...
No.
Why?
And guess what? The good thing about women not taking hormonal contraception, let's talk about the benefits.
Okay.
We're back to hormones. This is like the hormone. I'm supposed to be here talking about coronavirus, but I'm getting up talking about hormones all day.
I'm playing devil's advocate
Yes,
here.
I know.
I want to hear the theory behind this.
Okay, so my experience and the experience of many of people I know.
Okay, so clearly 98% of the demographic out there.
No, I just know, well, your demographic, probably none. Because I don't believe any women listen to this podcast.
Fuck off, man.
Yeah, if they email me, I might understand.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, but, bless them.
Why did I bring you here?
You asked me.
I know, I'm an idiot. All right, carry
on. Anyway, the impact on women's sexuality and their normal hormonal processes that are introduced when you interrupt the hormonal processes means that they don't have the natural cycles that they should have. And so you don't get the horny peak at ovulation. You only get that when you're not on contraception. I didn't experience horniness until I was like 38. Yeah? Never in my life between the ages of 15 and 38 did I understand what natural sexual interest was.
Okay.
Okay? And that's the same for a lot of women.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that. Yeah.
And the other thing is when you're on oral contraceptives, particularly estrogen-based oral contraceptives, is that it changes your sense of smell. And you can't actually... It was postulated a couple of decades ago that it's actually the reason for the high divorce rate.
Really?
Yeah, because it changes your ability to smell the right immunological partner for you.
Yeah, so I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you can't actually smell what the right partner is because actually, again, it comes back to pheromones. Yeah?
Look, people don't even know what pheromones are.
Well, they should Google it. It's on Wikipedia.
I agree with with pheromone-based theory, I agree.
Humans have pheromones. We're just not very good at them.
Yeah.
Because we just don't have the sense of smell like other animals.
Yeah,
but we do still have some. We still have some. And so we are designed, evolutionary-wise, to actually sniff out a partner that has the opposite histocompatibility complexes to us.
Yeah.
Okay, so different immune system. You want to mix your genes with people that have the opposite immune system to give you the biggest breadth of diversity of immune system abilities to survive
I love
disease.
that as humans, we actively seek out diversity.
Yeah.
But we have societies built on the fact of chastising diversity.
Biologically, we seek diversity.
Yeah.
But socially, we live in these weird social structures that have been created by white men.
Hey, you said it, not me.
White men.
You said it, not me.
It's like one word now to me. White men.
Yeah.
Male pale stale.
I've never heard that one.
Haven't you?
You've never shared that one with me.
Seriously? How long have you known me? Oh my God, I say that like 10 times a day.
I've never heard that.
Male pale stale. Male pale stale.
Yeah, all right.
But basically, and that's the problem.
Pale stale, man. That's disgusting.
Because, again, it's based on... we come back to baboons. I'm going to come back to baboons because I don't see the difference between male middle-aged male baboons and men that wear lycra. I'm talking about you, mammals. I'm going to be pejorative about middle-aged men in lycra now.
Driving convertibles.
No, riding $10,000 carbon fibre bikes.
Yeah.
No one has a convertible anymore.
No, that's not
It's
true.
all about carbon fibre bikes. I don't know what it's like here out in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne, but, down in Geelong, it's all about Cadell Evans.
We're not far from Brighton, man. All right?
That's true.
That's Beach Road.
Hey,
we
Beach Road,
could go 5K
Beach Road
from here.
is where they come with those cycles.
What cycles?
Bikes.
Oh, yeah.
You go on a Sunday, they don't even stop for the red lights.
No, they don't.
The mammals.
They're better. They're above the law.
Apparently.
They're above
But that's
the
my
law.
point, is that they are the law, and they invent the law, and so they have everything stacked in their favour.
Mm.
And instead of obeying the biological laws, which is old men should just piss off and let the young people come up, a la the baboon with the vasectomy.
Okay.
Yeah?
I'm still not up for that.
What, you're still not up for baboons having
There's a
vasectomy?
difference between a baboon with a vasectomy and old white men riding their carbon-fibered
There's
bikes.
they're exactly the same. Because if we were living like baboons, the women would get a pick of the young men that were sexually able.
But we're not living like baboons.
I know, it's disappointing. I often
You're living
wish.
in a fantasy land.
I wish I was a baboon.
Baboons and pheromones.
I wish I was a baboon, often. No, I wish I was a bonobo.
A bonobo.
Yeah, bonobo chimp. They're like chimpanzees. They're like closely related.
Yeah, they've got that weird nose, don't they?
No, that's a baboon.
No,
A weird nose and ass. Look it up. They look like chimpanzees.
Okay, bonobo is...
They might have a bit of a weird nose.
I thought it was. Hang on. Bonobo.
Yeah, they look just like chimps.
They do look like chimps.
Yeah, they're just chimps. So basically, they have the best sex life.
Why's that?
They just do. They have polyamory sex. They're
okay.
totally,
Social behaviour.
Yeah, let's look at their social behaviour.
I love how social behaviour is like a paragraph. Social sexual behaviour is like a full page.
2 pages, yeah. Welcome to Wikipedia run by incels. Yeah, come on. What does it say?
Oh, that's the first archive,
Yeah.
Sexually active generally plays what?
They're like totally bacchanalian.
Yeah, being used scientists as greeting. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Means of social bonds, tongue kissing.
Yeah.
Only non-human animal to have been observed engaging in tongue kissing. Wow.
See? You need to get onto the bonobos, not necessarily yourself. Okay, I don't approve of bestiality.
Man.
Try not to corpse. Come on.
A man
Stay
has
with me.
stormed into the Melbourne zoo overnight. Picked up in the chimpanzee cage, apparently screaming about bonobos.
He lied. He was tongue kissing a bonobo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
But I think I think the women bonobos have a good time, and they tend to be quite
They
promiscuous.
have a good time.
I don't think monogamy is a thing with bonobos.
Okay.
That's my point.
Can I ask how the hell we got onto bonobos and, patriarchy?
We were talking about patriarchies.
Well, yeah, that's-
Bonobos don't have a patriarchy. They have a just let's all have sex with everybody kind of deal.
Really?
Yeah.
So how did we stray from like that to where we are now?
Oh, white men. I don't know. I just wish we'd stayed. I'm coming back as a bonobo my next life.
So we could have been in this amorous sort of playland?
This is the future we could have.
Yeah. If we let nature take its
If we let
course.
women make
Yeah.
decisions about sex.
You reckon?
Yeah. That is the utopia that everybody wants. That's primate utopia.
But then you'd be talking about reversing the social structure that's been set. Not social structure, social influence that's been
It's a
set
structure.
for...
It's structural.
Yeah. That's been set for
Who
generations.
cares? It's only advantaged white men.
Yes.
Why
but
would we not want
I've
to piss it off?
I've spent so many years trying to, not convince, but trying to explain that breakdown to,
It just needs to be burnt to the ground and started again. Let's go and become bonobos. Seriously, let's look to nature to see what we should be doing. And the only way we're going to achieve that, I'm here to tell you, she says, pointing at the screen.
pointing.
I'm pointing.
Yeah, okay.
But basically, the only way we're going to achieve that is if women are freed from the shackles of hormonal control that they're currently under from the ages of 15 to 40.
Through contraceptive and...
through hormonal contraceptives. Men can basically not produce sperm with an occlusion of their vas deferens.
They wouldn't experience any difference.
They don't experience any difference in their hormonal levels or the sperm coming out If you put it under the microscope, you won't see any wigglers. That's the difference.
You're making some good points.
I'm making lots of good points.
Yeah, hey, look, for the first time ever, I'm actually hearing this argument, and it's making sense to me. Look at it that way.
That's good. I'm glad I'm making sense.
Well, no, because fuck off, all right? I've always given you credit when credit is due.
No.
When have I ever discredited you?
I like to make evidence-based decisions.
No, that's good. We need more of that.
And that's the problem. And I have been freed from the shackles of hormonal contraception. Okay? I have been freed. And most women, when they hit, once they've had their last child,
yeah,
they usually force their husbands to go and have a vasectomy. And guess what? That's when the cougar comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah? How many cougars are out there?
Yeah, plenty.
Yeah, the whole cougar stereotype is basically based on the fact that women, their testosterone starts rising, their estrogen starts dropping, and they're no longer under the shackles of hormonal contraception. And so all of a sudden women get to be women as sexual beings.
Yeah.
And that's what we should be offering them from the age of 15, not the age of 40. Yeah, we shouldn't be waiting that long. Women shouldn't have to wait that long to become real women.
If the science of that is so clear-cut as it seems to be, then why isn't this being pushed as a bigger agenda?
Because women's health is not interesting. Doesn't make money. Women are second-class beings, if you haven't noticed. Welcome to the patriarchy.
Oh, my God.
It's the patriarchy. Sorry.
That's why? It's the patriarchy. The only reason? It's
basically because men quite like having compliant, warm, wet holes that won't get pregnant in their lives. You might not be able to put my real name on this. Just saying. It's good material, but you might not be able to put my real name.
Inferior second-class citizen, that's what you're going to be billed as.
Yeah, you could. Inferior, that's me. Yeah, inferior. Yeah. Mrs. Golby, just call me Mrs. Golby.
No one will ever look that name up.
No one will know. I've got no profile as Mrs. Golby.
You got an account at the Geelong pub, that's it.
No, like I don't even have that. Don't even have that. I've got Mrs. Golby doesn't exist. It's my mother-in-law. But, yeah.
Yeah, true.
But I think that there's actually this tyranny of, and I've spoken
tyranny.
It's a tyranny. It's a hormonal tyranny that women have been put under for contraception. To be able to get the freedom from pregnancy, we've had to exchange our biological sexuality.
Okay.
And that's something that I didn't realise until I was 38.